Hello, hope you're well. My name's Keith and today let's talk about child maintenance and the payment of mortgages. Now obviously it's quite common that where there's a split, one party leaves the family household and quite often leaving the other party with the children in the house that is mortgaged. Now of course what then happens is obviously someone has to pay that mortgage, and if it's a joint mortgage it's normally paid for jointly. The trouble is when the child maintenance service gets involved, it gets complicated. The reason it gets complicated is obviously the child maintenance service produce a calculation, and that calculation is based solely upon the income of the paying parent. So the mortgages etc. aren't taken into account. So the question is often asked, what about the mortgage? Well, the situation is quite simple. For the purposes of child maintenance, it's governed under the regulations, under Regulation 67, and you can see an explainer of that in the leaflet, Variations Explained. If you go to look at that leaflet at the bottom of the left hand side, it explains the variations to do with mortgages. Now in effect it works as follows. Under Regulation 67, in order for the mortgage to be qualified as something that can effectively be taken into account for child maintenance, under paragraph 2 section 3 of the child maintenance regulations, the property had to be the home of the applicant, and remains the home of the parent with care and the qualifying child. So in other words, in order for the mortgage to be taken into account, the qualifying child must live there, as must the applicant, and that must have been a situation before the child maintenance service was involved. However, there was a slight catch to this, and that's the fact that the mortgages will not be taken into account if the non-resident parent has a legal or equitable interest in the property. So what that means is if they're on the mortgage, or they own a share of the property, the mortgage will not get taken into account for child maintenance purposes, and therefore you cannot claim a special expense variation for it. What's more, even if there's an investment attached to that, such as the old-fashioned endowment type mortgage, if the non-resident parent stands to profit from the endowment maturity, then again you cannot use that as a variation. So the long and the short of it is, for the 99% of cases, obviously I haven't statistically checked that, just a generalisation, you will not be able to use the payment of a mortgage as an expense variation. So you will not be able to claim a discount from CMS. I think this situation of paying for the mortgage and being able to claim from CMS is probably only really applicable to circumstances where there's been a divorce consent order and it's been dealt with through the courts, and it's been determined that someone will pay towards the mortgage even though they have no equitable interest and things like that. That's the basic mechanism behind it. It reflects that fact. But for the average person who splits, moves out, is paying 50% of the mortgage, they're still liable to pay to their mortgage company, and the CMS will not reduce their CMS because of the fact there's a mortgage present, and obviously that's because they will 99 out of 100 times have a beneficial interest. So that's the quick summary of mortgages. I hope that's been of use to you. Hope that dispels some of the rumours. Sorry for the bleeping of the dishwasher in the background. Have a good day, and if you'd like to check out my next video, it will explain mortgages in more detail and how you need to probably look at your mortgages when you're dealing with the child maintenance service. Thank you very much.